Lieutenant Mara Kellen's ship glided silently through the violet clouds of Varela Prime, a jungle planet so strange it seemed alive. Trees towered like skyscrapers, their leaves glowing in faint neon blues and greens. Rivers shone like liquid light, winding through the jungle in patterns too perfect to be natural. Mara's suit protected her from the planet's toxic air, but the weight of it slowed her movements. She had been sent to establish first contact with the Varelians, a species humans had only heard about in myths and reports. Dangerous, deadly, almost untouchable. Mara's eyes scanned the horizon. Reports had warned her of Varelian predators, creatures that could strike faster than a human blink, with venom strong enough to kill in minutes. Her mission was clear. Approach carefully, observe, and survive long enough to make contact. But she also knew the importance of building trust. The humans who had attempted to engage the Varelians before had failed. Most hadn't even returned. 41. Thanks for watching. The jungle shifted as she stepped forward. Every movement made strange, echoing sounds like the forest itself was watching. Mara felt a shiver run down her spine. But she squared her shoulders and pressed on. Then, through the neon mist, she saw her target. A figure, tall and elegant, standing atop a glowing rock, her translucent skin showing faint, pulsing veins. Mara froze. The alien Princess Lysera turned toward her, her eyes like liquid silver, reflecting the light of the jungle. She raised a hand, delicate but dangerous. Mara could sense the warning in her stance. "Don't touch me," Lysera said, her voice melodic, almost musical, yet sharp, with caution. "I'm poisonous." Mara nodded, keeping a respectful distance. She had read about the Varelian poison enough to kill several humans at once, if contact was careless. But she also noticed the loneliness in Lysera's posture. She wasn't just dangerous. She was isolated. "I know," Mara said calmly. "I won't touch you. I just want to understand." Lysera's eyes narrowed. Humans, always curious, always rushing where you shouldn't. Mara smiled faintly. "Curiosity is what keeps us alive, Princess, and what sometimes makes us heroic." Lysera didn't respond immediately. She studied Mara, as if trying to read not just her words, but her intentions. The jungle around them seemed to hold its breath. Then, a sudden rustling in the trees made both of them tense. From the shadows emerged a creature larger than any Mara had seen before. Its body sleek and black, eyes glowing red. It moved silently, stalking them, muscles rippling under its skin. Lysera stepped back, but her eyes betrayed fear. Mara's training took over. She quickly scanned the area, noticing a pattern in the glowing mushrooms on the ground. With a quick motion, she triggered a small device from her belt. A pulse of light and sound erupted, temporarily disorienting the predator. It hissed and vanished into the darkness. Lysera blinked. "Impressive," she said softly, a hint of respect in her tone. "Most humans would be dead by now." Mara took a cautious step forward. "I don't just want to survive. I want to help you. If you let me." Lysera's veins pulsed faintly, a nervous habit of her kind when they were uncertain. "Help me? How could a human possibly help a Varelian?" Mara looked around. "Because we care. Because sometimes, courage isn't about not being afraid, it's about acting even when you are." For a moment, the two of them simply watched each other. Then, without warning, more predators emerged from the mist. Mara's suit sensors flashed red. There were at least 3 more, larger than the first, moving in silent coordination. Lysera tensed, her wings unfurling slightly, a display of both power and warning. Mara acted fast. Using a series of hand gestures, she directed a low-frequency pulse from her suit, causing the predators to hesitate. Then, she noticed a narrow ravine nearby. "Follow me," she shouted. She dashed forward, leading Lizera toward the safety of the ravine's shadow. Her suit enhanced her movements, allowing her to keep pace with the Varelian's natural agility. Once they reached the ravine, the predators hesitated. They were intelligent hunters, but the combined tactics of human technology and Varelian instincts confused them. Mara and Lizera pressed against the cool rock walls, hearts racing. Lizera exhaled, finally allowing herself a small smile. Mara smiled back, breathless. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just brave enough to try. They stayed in the ravine for a while, catching their breath. Mara observed Lizera more closely. Her translucent skin showed faint lines of glowing toxins running beneath it. She could sense the danger she carried, and yet, she also carried something else. A profound sadness. A centuries-long isolation that had shaped her entire life. "I see why your species is feared," Mara said quietly. "But I also see why you need friends." Lizera looked at her, studying her eyes. "Friends? A human friend? You risk everything for someone like me?" Mara nodded. "Sometimes the right thing to do isn't the safe thing. That's what makes humans human." The alien princess considered her words carefully. Then, slowly, she extended a hand not to touch, but in a gesture of cautious trust. Mara didn't take it immediately. Instead, she bowed slightly, showing respect. "I am Lieutenant Mara Kellen," she said, "and I want to learn from you, Princess Lizera, about your world and your people, maybe even about you." Lizera's eyes softened. "You are bold or foolish? Perhaps both." She paused. "Very well. Follow me. But stay careful. My world is not kind to strangers, no matter how brave." Mara followed, keeping a careful distance. As they moved through the glowing jungle, Lizera showed her secret paths, hidden from all but the Virelians. She demonstrated how to move silently, how to avoid predators, and how the poisonous plants could both heal and harm. At one point, Mara slipped near a glowing riverbank. Lizera instinctively reached out, but remembered the danger. "Do not touch me," she said, her voice sharp with alarm. "My skin." Mara laughed softly, stepping back. "I know. I'm careful. But sometimes, just knowing someone would try is enough." Lizera's gaze lingered on her. She was beginning to understand something new. Humans were unpredictable, but not mindless. They had courage, creativity, and something that Virelians rarely saw: empathy that extended even to the dangerous and unknown. As night fell, the jungle lit up in waves of neon colors. Mara and Lizera found a hidden clearing atop a high cliff. From here, they could see the floating islands above, the rivers below, and the vast expanse of the jungle stretching endlessly. "You see this?" Lizera asked. "This is what my people protect. Every plant, every river, every predator. It is ours. And it is dangerous to outsiders." Mara nodded. "It is beautiful. And yes, dangerous. But danger doesn't scare us. It teaches us. It makes us stronger." Lizera studied her, as if weighing the truth of her words. Finally, she nodded slowly. "Perhaps humans are not as weak as we believe. Perhaps there is something in you worth knowing." For the first time in centuries, Lizera felt a strange sense of hope. Maybe this human, small and fragile in comparison, could teach her something her people had long forgotten: trust, courage, and friendship that transcended fear. As the neon night surrounded them, Mara and Lizera sat in quiet companionship. Predators lurked in the shadows, toxins ran through veins, and danger still surrounded them. But for the first time, both human and Virelian felt that perhaps the impossible could be possible. Mara whispered softly, almost to herself. Sometimes, the bravest thing is to touch the untouchable, to risk everything, for trust. Lysera did not answer immediately. But deep inside, she knew the human meant it. And for the first time, she wondered if someone human, might not only survive in her dangerous world, but also change it forever. The neon jungle of Varela Prime pulsed around them, glowing softly under the twin moons. Lieutenant Mara Kellen had never seen anything like it. Every step she took was a careful dance between survival and curiosity. With Princess Lysera beside her, the danger of the jungle felt both more real and strangely manageable. Lysera moved with grace, her translucent skin reflecting the faint light of the glowing plants. Each pulse of color under her skin hinted at the deadly poison she carried, a defense mechanism that kept her species isolated. Mara could feel the tension radiating from the alien princess. Yet beneath it, there was something else. Curiosity. A spark of fascination at the human who refused to be afraid. "You are reckless," Lysera said suddenly, her voice melodic but sharp. "You do not fear death." Mara paused, looking at her carefully. "I do fear it," she admitted. "But fear doesn't stop me. It teaches me to think, to act, to survive. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it." Lysera's silver eyes studied her. Humans, she realized, were strange creatures, fragile, yet resilient. Curious, yet capable of great patience. Most Varelians had long avoided contact with them, considering humans foolish and reckless. Mara, however, was different. Her calm confidence suggested intelligence and something deeper. Empathy. "Perhaps you are exceptional," Lysera said softly. Their conversation was cut short by a low growl. From the dense underbrush emerged a massive predator, its black fur slick with moisture, eyes glowing red. Mara instinctively raised her hand. Her suit's sensors locked on the threat, calculating its speed and attack patterns. Lysera tensed, preparing to use her poison if necessary. Mara moved first, using a low-frequency pulse from her suit to momentarily confuse the predator. The creature faltered, growling in frustration. Lysera darted to Mara's side, her wings flaring slightly, releasing a faint, toxic mist into the air. The predator recoiled, weakened by the alien venom, giving them the chance to escape. "You rely too much on your machines," Lysera remarked, though there was a hint of admiration in her tone. "And you rely too much on fear," Mara replied gently. "Together, maybe we balance each other out." Lysera considered her words, then nodded. Despite herself, she was impressed. Humans were not just curious, they adapted quickly, even in the deadliest environments. They continued through the jungle, moving carefully along hidden paths known only to Varelians. Lysera taught Mara how to navigate silently, how to read the patterns of glowing plants, and how to sense the presence of predators long before they appeared. Mara, in turn, demonstrated human ingenuity. She modified her suit to blend with the jungle's light patterns, reduced its weight for agility, and shared knowledge of traps and devices that could protect them without harming the wildlife unnecessarily. As they moved deeper into the jungle, Lysera suddenly stopped. Her eyes narrowed as she observed a narrow canyon ahead. Mara followed her gaze and saw several predators waiting in ambush. "Do you always walk into danger so carelessly?" Lysera asked, exasperated. "Not carelessly," Mara said. "Strategically. Danger teaches us. Not, princess. It makes us smarter, faster, stronger." Lysera shook her head but allowed Mara to take the lead. Using a combination of traps and her suit's technology, Mara created a distraction. Rocks fell, sending predators scattering in confusion. Lysera struck carefully, releasing small amounts of venom that incapacitated the hunters without killing them. Together, They reached the canyon safely. That was impressive, Lysera admitted. Mara smiled. We are stronger together than alone. That is how humans survive. We work, we adapt, and we care for each other. For a moment, Lysera considered the words. Humans had a strange resilience. They could be fragile and yet fearless, small and yet brave. Perhaps there was something in them worth understanding. As night fell, they reached a hidden cave behind a waterfall. The water shimmered under the moon's light, casting rainbow reflections across the walls. Mara set up a temporary camp while Lysera explored the cave, revealing hidden crystal formations that pulsed with bioluminescent energy. This is your world, Mara said softly, watching the alien princess. It is beautiful, but dangerous. And yet, you protect it. Lysera nodded. Danger is everywhere. It is what we are made of. But humans, you are different. You face danger with choice, not instinct alone. You choose to act, to risk yourself for others. Mara looked at her carefully. Because some things are worth it. Trust, friendship, life, even yours, princess. Lysera's veins pulsed rapidly, a sign of nervous tension. She hesitated, then asked quietly, Do you not fear my poison? Mara shook her head. I respect it, but I do not fear it, because fear keeps us apart. Understanding brings us together. Spettigt. The alien princess studied her for a long time. Then, in a gesture of cautious trust, she extended a hand. Mara did not take it immediately. Instead, she bowed slightly, showing respect. I am Lieutenant Mara Kellen, she said, and I want to learn from you. About your people, and maybe even about you. Lysera's eyes softened. You are bold, or foolish. Perhaps both. Very well. Follow me. They spent the night sharing stories in the cave. Lysera spoke of centuries of isolation, of Virelians avoiding contact with other species out of fear and caution. Mara shared stories of human exploration, of survival, and of the bonds that kept humans strong even in the deadliest environments. You humans are strange, Lysera said, a hint of amusement in her voice. So fragile, yet so determined. You face death, without hesitation. Mara smiled. We do not lack fear. We just do not let it stop us. That is what makes us strong. In the darkness of the cave, they were interrupted by a low, menacing growl. A predator had followed them, drawn by the scent of Lysera's poison. Mara and Lysera prepared for battle, their movements synchronized. Mara's suit enhanced her speed, while Lysera's poison weakened the predator. They moved as one, a human and an alien, facing danger side by side. After the predator was neutralized, Lysera exhaled, her wings folding back in relief. You are reckless, she said, though her voice carried a note of respect. And brave. Mara looked at her calmly. Sometimes bravery is just reaching out when everyone else steps back. Sometimes it is touching the untouchable. Lysera studied her carefully. For the first time, she saw humans not as weak creatures to be feared or ignored, but as beings capable of courage, empathy, and intelligence beyond expectation. The next morning, they emerged from the cave to a breathtaking view. The jungle stretched endlessly, dotted with floating islands and glowing rivers. Mara and Lysera stood side by side, watching the sunrise reflect in the neon waters. This is what my people protect, Lysera said softly. Every plant, every river, every creature. It is ours, and it is dangerous to outsiders. Mara nodded. It is beautiful. And yes, dangerous. But danger teaches us. It shapes us. It makes us better. Lysera looked at her thoughtfully. Perhaps humans are not as weak as we believed. Perhaps there is something in you worth knowing. For the first time, Lizera felt hope. Perhaps this human, small and fragile in comparison, could teach her something her people had long forgotten. Trust, courage, and friendship that transcended fear. Mara smiled faintly. Sometimes, the bravest thing is not fighting alone. Sometimes, it is trusting someone else, even when they could kill you. Lysera did not answer immediately, but deep inside, she knew Mara meant it. And for the first time, she wondered if someone human might not only survive in her dangerous world, but also change it forever. As they prepared to descend deeper into the jungle, Mara felt a strange connection to Lysera. Danger surrounded them. Yet in that moment, they were equals. Human courage and alien caution had met. And together, they had survived. The possibilities felt endless. Mara whispered, almost to herself. Sometimes, the right touch, the right choice, can change everything. Lysera's eyes glimmered in agreement. For the first time in centuries, she allowed herself to hope. The floating city of the Varelian capital shimmered above glowing rivers, its crystalline spires piercing the twin moons' light. Lieutenant Mara Kellen and Princess Lysera arrived at the heart of the city, where the Varelian council waited. The elders' eyes, silver and sharp, studied Mara with suspicion. Humans were outsiders. Fragile and reckless traits most Varelians considered dangerous. Yet Lysera's presence beside Mara signaled something unexpected. Trust. You bring a human here? One elder asked, voice like chimes echoing through the chamber. This is dangerous. You risk everything. Lysera lifted her head, glowing veins pulsing faintly with calm authority. He is no ordinary human. He is brave, intelligent, and most importantly, he respects our world. Mara stepped forward, hands raised in peace. I come with no intention to harm. I come to learn, to understand, and perhaps to offer friendship. Humans and Varelians can accomplish much together, if we try. The elders whispered among themselves, clearly divided. Many had never trusted humans, believing their curiosity and recklessness were fatal flaws. But a few, including Lysera's closest advisors, nodded thoughtfully. Mara sensed the tension, realizing that words alone would not convince them. They would need proof. Before Mara could respond, alarms echoed through the city. Sensors detected a breach in the energy core that powered the city's floating platforms. A rogue Varelian faction had infiltrated the city, seeking to destroy the energy source and discredit Lysera. Panic spread as the council scrambled for defenses. Mara's training kicked in. Princess, she said calmly, we need a plan. We can't let them destroy the city. End quote. Finally, 2-3 redder. End quote. Lysera nodded, wings unfurling. Follow me. I will guide you to the core. They ran through crystal corridors, Mara studying security schematics she had memorized from her briefings. She quickly realized that the rogue faction had bypassed several defenses. Using her suit's interface, she activated emergency lockdowns, sealing corridors and slowing the intruders' advance. Lysera unleashed small pulses of her poison at strategic points, weakening the rogue Varelians without causing permanent harm. Mara coordinated with her, combining human technology and Varelian instincts. Their teamwork was seamless. Humans and aliens working side by side, complementing each other's strengths. You adapt quickly, Lysera said, dodging a rogue attacker. Mara smiled. Humans learn fast when life is on the line. They reached the energy core, a massive crystalline structure glowing with power. The intruders were attempting to overload it. Mara assessed the situation quickly. We need to stabilize the core, but carefully. If we make one mistake, the city could fall. Lysera looked at him, concern in her silver eyes. You are brave. Or foolish. But perhaps that is exactly what is needed. Mara nodded, moving to the core's control panel. Using her knowledge of human engineering, she bypassed the overload circuits, rerouting energy flows. Lizera adjusted the crystal's alignment, her poison pulses carefully timed to neutralize the rogue faction without harming the structure. Minutes felt like hours. The rogue Varelians fought fiercely, but Mara and Lizera were faster, smarter, and more coordinated. Finally, with a last burst of energy, the intruders were expelled from the core chamber, and the city's energy stabilized. The alarms ceased, leaving an almost eerie calm over the capital. The council watched in stunned silence. Mara stepped back, breathing heavily but steady. Lizera's glowing veins dimmed to their usual soft pulse, and she turned to her advisors. This human has proven himself. He did not act out of fear or pride. He acted with intelligence, courage, and heart. One elder finally spoke, voice quivering with reluctant admiration. Perhaps we have underestimated humans. Lizera smiled faintly. Not underestimated, elder. We simply have not seen their full potential. She turned to Mara. You have earned the respect of my people. Lieutenant Kellen. Mara bowed slightly. Thank you, Princess. But the respect is mutual. I have learned much from you today. Your courage, your intelligence, and your care for your people. It is inspiring. For the first time, humans and Varelians began to see each other not as strangers or threats, but as allies. Word of Mara's bravery and Lizera's trust spread quickly throughout the city. Varelians, who had long avoided contact with other species, began to reconsider. Perhaps humans were more than fragile outsiders. They were partners, capable of bravery, empathy, and ingenuity. Days passed, and Mara and Lizera worked together to repair the city's damages and strengthen defenses. During this time, they shared stories, jokes, and strategies, building a bond that went beyond mere survival. Lizera began to trust the human completely, and Mara found himself deeply impressed by the alien princess's wisdom, courage, and sense of responsibility. One evening, they stood on a floating platform overlooking the neon rivers. The twin moons reflected in the glowing waters, creating a surreal, almost magical scene. Mara spoke softly. You have built something incredible here. Your people, your world. It's amazing. Our M and M. Our M and M and M. Our wire M and 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 M. Lizera turned to him, her silver eyes reflecting the moon's light. And yet, it is not complete. It is beautiful, yes, but it is isolated. For centuries, we have avoided the galaxy, fearful of outsiders. But you have shown me another way. Mara smiled. Humans are not perfect. We are curious, reckless, and sometimes foolish. But we also care, and we adapt. We can work together, if you let us. Lizera's veins pulsed softly. Perhaps it is time. Time to let others see what we have built. Time to trust. And time to learn from humans as well. Together, they sent messages to human outposts, inviting diplomats, scientists, and explorers to meet the Varelians. Slowly, bridges formed between two species that had once feared each other. Mara's bravery and empathy had not only saved the city, but had also opened the door to a new alliance, one that promised knowledge, trade, and cooperation throughout the galaxy. Yet the final test of trust came unexpectedly. A massive storm erupted over the city, powerful and unpredictable. Energy fields wavered, and the floating platforms trembled. Lizera's people panicked, unsure how to stabilize the structures. Mara took charge. analyzing the energy flows, and directing repairs. Using a combination of human technology and Varelian techniques, he coordinated teams across the city, preventing catastrophic damage. Lysera watched him in awe. "You do not fear responsibility," she said. "You step forward when others hesitate." Mara shrugged. "Responsibility is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. That is how humans survive." After the storm passed, the city was intact, stronger than before. The council convened again, this time with expressions of respect and gratitude. Lysera stood proudly beside Mara. "It is clear," she said, "that humans and Varelians can achieve more together than alone. This alliance is no longer a possibility. It is a necessity." End quote. Mara bowed respectfully. "I am honored, Princess, and I look forward to learning from your people as much as you have learned from us." Lysera's wings fluttered gently. For the first time in centuries, she felt a sense of true hope. Perhaps this human and humans in general could bring new perspectives, new courage, and new strength to the galaxy. Before Mara departed to return to human space, Lysera approached him. Her glowing veins pulsed faintly, a subtle sign of trust and respect. "Lieutenant Kellen," she said softly, "you have touched the untouchable. You have faced danger, fear, and skepticism. And yet, you have not faltered. You have earned a place in my people's hearts." Mara smiled, feeling the weight of her words. "And you have earned a place in mine. Perhaps one day, humans and Varelians will explore the galaxy together, side by side." Lysera nodded. "Perhaps. And when that day comes, it will be because of courage, trust, and understanding qualities humans possess in ways we have long forgotten." As Mara's ship lifted off, Lysera watched him go, a sense of optimism filling her. The alliance between humans and Varelians was no longer a dream, it was reality. And it had begun with a single act of courage. A human touching the untouchable, and refusing to let fear dictate his choices. Mara looked back at the glowing city one last time. He thought of the dangers, the predators, and the poisoned touch of the Varelian princess. Yet he felt pride and hope. In the galaxy, there were many worlds, many dangers, and many unknowns. But humans had one thing that made them extraordinary: the courage to act, the intelligence to adapt, and the heart to care, even when the odds seemed impossible. And somewhere deep in the glowing jungle, Princess Lysera smiled. For the first time, in trees 9, in seas nigh.ol, she believed that humans might not only survive in the galaxy, they might teach others what it truly meant to be courageous, clever, and kind. The jungle shimmered under the moon's light. A world alive with danger, beauty, and possibility. And in that world, a human and an alien had forged a bond that would change the course of their civilizations forever.